Today marks 1589 day of daily lessons, day reflections. And today I will make a reflection about stupid mistake that I did, and that stupid mistake that I did cost me about 4 hours. But while I was being in that mistake, I had no idea how long it will take. Maybe 5 hours, maybe 10 hours. Because what happened is that there was a room that I was using by myself for 6 months. And now there's another person who is using that room, and because of that I didn't check the lock, and when I entered it I locked inside. And that's ridiculous because of course that's my fault. I didn't check the log, and of course I forgot that just a new person is using that room as well, and because of that I didn't double check the log, and because of that I was basically locked in inside. And it's an interesting thing because I think that during this time when I got locked inside, there's no phone. I was only short with shorts and t-shirt. That's it. Nothing else. No phone, no laptop, no nothing. Basically struck in the small room, no lights. I have no idea what time it is because it's in the middle of darkness. Of course, I had a light, but that's our artificial light. So I logged in at noon, and I could do right away say that I was finally released at 4:30. So I waited for 4 hours, 30 minutes until the person came in and let me out. But it was an interesting day because it allowed me to reflect a lot of things. And it's interesting because the last week or so I was studying and reflecting on nervous system and how important it is. And I realized that even this one, I think that could potentially create a lot of stress, anxiety, angerness, disappointment. But I found myself that there was a very, very small spike of negative emotions. But I allowed myself to really bring it back to steady, calm, peaceful state. And I think that's partly is that awareness of emotional states, awareness of emotions, awareness of what's going on inside, allow me to catch myself that I'm spiraling to the direction that I want to spiral into. And it's interesting because at the beginning I started to blame all of this person. After that, I started to blame myself and I started to judge myself and then sometimes even shame myself. But I realized how that will benefit me. At the beginning, I started to be resourceful, try to find out how I could potentially break the door, how I could really open the door, how like there's all the ways that I try to. But after a while, after probably like 40 minutes and an hour, I realized that I know that the person will come. I just don't know when the person will come. I knew that 100%. So at that moment, okay, so how I could really benefit from that? And that's a bit of a question. How I could benefit from that? And I said to myself that March is a month of reflection. Maybe that's a beautiful thing. Universe said it to you. Okay, so you want to reflect? Go for it. You have 4 hours, 5 hours, no phone, no nothing. You just sit down, meditate, reflect, all the things that you wanted to reflect on, and that's what I did. I sat down, start to first meditate on because I always used to do guided meditations. Now I was able to do just guided by myself. I looked into, went from my body. I went to did a little bit breathing meditation. I really started to reflect, and that's a beautiful thing. But my emotions kept always steady. And the person came in, rather than being potentially angry, disappointed, I was grateful. I was grateful for this experience because I think that now I'm able to share and allow me to reflect on so many things. And one thing that I want to mention, and before I will go to like 7 small lessons that I learned, but I follow one person that has probably 150,000 followers right now. Very intelligent, smart person. But there's something happening in his life right now, and it's not that big in my perspective. And because of what's happening in his life right now, he said that I will not do trainings for now until my mind will be clear. And I realized that after 7 days speaking about nervous system, that his nervous system thinks that this one thing that's going through is big enough to really not do the right thing because I think that it was the right thing for him to really do the right thing and still do the trainings that he always does. But again, every single person who is going through things, most time over exaggerate the 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 largeness or bigness of that issue. And I realized that how important it is to develop nervous system that it doesn't matter how high stakes you are in, you're able to do the right thing because people depend on you. People depend on you. And now, when I think about this person who that I follow, I still admire his knowledge, but I will not follow him. I don't see him. I don't respect him as a leader. I respect him as a person who will achieve great thing, but I will not follow him. I know that if something happens, he will not stand. He will not. I'm not able to depend on this person to show up when it matters because his mind will not be clear. And again, this is extremely important. I think that's why it's extremely important to really develop and this again test. And this test was not chosen, but given by life. So I will share 7 small tips that I could potentially learn from this experience. Number 1, you are less in control than you think. And that's a beautiful thing. I think that sometimes we know that we want to have everything under control. But even this day, I had my plan for the day. I was executing my day, and at noon, all my plans went sideways. And again, this is just beautiful thing when when we experience that. Rather than being frustrated, we need to learn to be adaptable. And this again, this 4 hours, how to use those 4 hours. Rather than being disappointed, they'll not lead anywhere. Maybe we can use those 4 hours again, reflect, meditate, build gratitude, think. Because thinking is an important thing to do. Number 2, your mind is either your prison or your weapon. Your mind is your prison or weapon. That's again one thing that I learned today that for probably 5 minutes, I was in my mind's prison because those emotions that was going through anger, blame, shame, judgment is a prison, emotional prison. And then after that, I chose use it as a weapon. I did the right things regarding my internal peace. So today, rather that made me worse emotionally, made me better because they could potentially could be now all day long think about it negatively about lost 4 hours, or you can think about I tested my patience, I tested my ability to really stay steady, and then again, just you allow to be grateful for that. Number 3, discomfort exposes your emotional fitness. This is what we were discussing. Discomfort exposes your emotional fitness. So when things can happen from life, what happens to your emotions? Do you get triggered to anger, disappointment, frustration, anxiety, nervousness, or are triggered to gratefulness, joy, adaptability, curiosity, resourcefulness? Because that could be the thing that's really the challenges brings into you. And that's the beautiful thing. Number 4, boredom is withdrawal from stimulation. And it's interesting because I had no chance to get any stimulation whatsoever. I locked in a small room, there's no stimulation. The only stimulation I was able to do was reflection. That's boredom. And really, sometimes that's the best thing that we can do for ourselves, that stillness that build. And this is forced onto me, stillness. I'd rather be disappointed of forced stillness on me. Being number 5, time feels longer when you are powerless. Time feels longer when you're powerless. And it's interesting because first hour was probably the most difficult. It seemed like it's forever. It just doesn't go anywhere. But when you finally surrender, when you finally this is what I will do. I will reflect. I will meditate. I will grow. I will keep steady. It seemed that it gave me power back, and the time just flew. And to be honest, when the person came and said it was 4:30, I thought it would be only like two. So it seemed like those hours flew by because I took control. And then, of course, I have no idea, like at what point, what hours came went by because I had no direction how to really gauge hours. But it seems that first 2 hours was very, very long. The first hour was long, and after that, it just went fast when I took control my power. Number 6, your stress response is revealed under confinement. And again, this is again one more time, your stress response is revealed under confinement. So when you are in a circumstance, do you fly? Do you freeze? Do you solve problems? Do you run away? What do you do? What your main actions? What is your default actions? What is your default emotions when something happens, when you're triggered? And it's a beautiful thing. That's why we need to stress test our emotions to understand where we stand. Because when we know where we stand, that builds courage, builds confidence. We know that when things come at us, we know what default mode will bring us in to fight this stress that is coming on upon us. And that's a great feedback. Number seven, last one is that gratitude gets recalibrated fast. So this again, I think that gratitude is a beautiful thing because I think that every single experience could be seen through gratitude. Something positive, gratitude. Something negative, gratitude. Because it's an interesting thing because both positive and negative experiences could lead to positive. So theoretically, there's no negative experiences if you actually used that experience for your own benefit. But I think one of the best ways to turn negative experience to positive experience is through gratitude. Because gratitude allows you to reflect, okay, what did I learn? What I did wrong that led me to really get into this moment. Maybe I didn't do anything wrong, but things happened to me anyway. But what it developed within me that next time I will be even stronger. Maybe I could recover faster. Maybe I could reach out to someone. Like, what could I do next time to really handle this better, faster, stronger, and recover faster? So today was an interesting day, and I think that every single person has interesting days. And today was a my stupid mistake, but my stupid mistake led to a pretty good outcome because really I started to see that my nervous system is coming back on, and that's exactly what I want. I want to develop my nervous system from 1 to 5 stage, and I think that I'm at that stage 3 stable, and that's the time where I need to work to expand my abilities. So I hope you choose to win, and see you tomorrow.